rainy day here in Burbank, which is why these two gentlemen have hats. I'm Cad Napzok. This is Andres Ace Cabrera, and we are here to review and discuss, more than review, we love diving in and discussing Mandalorian Chapter 5, The Gunslinger. Ace, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you. Finally, I get to talk Mandalorian right after The Mandalorian comes on. And I'm incredibly excited to talk about it with you, Ken.
It's going to be a lot of fun. I do want to remind you and let you know that this show is presented to you by Heroes and Villains. Our friends over there got some great Star Wars merch. Check it out and use Jedi Code 10 for 10% off your entire purchase on top of existing holiday promotional savings. Go to heroesvillains.com. Thank you to our friends at Heroes and Villains for sponsoring this program and presenting it to you here. Ace, let us start. Chapter 5, The Gunslinger.
Yes.
So I'm in a weird spot. Yeah, I wrote the book, Why We Love Star Wars. I am known for being very positive about Star Wars, and this was a weird experience for me because this was by far my least favorite episode.
Ooh.
A lot of directing and acting choices I didn't understand. And I'm struggling a little bit to stay luminous, which is what our friends at Black Series Rebels always strive for. But that said, I loved a lot of the story, and there's a lot of things I want to dive into. So I wanted to start from that point of view and say, where are you at right now?
I mean, we're 5 episodes in the series, right? Yeah. Okay, so 5 episodes in. So far, what we've gotten is we've gotten a progression from episode 1 to 3. We see kind of where we're going. Yeah. Episode 4, we took a little side quest.
Yes.
So I was curious to see where episode 5 headed forward. Unfortunately, I feel like we got another side quest, which is fine if we have multiple episodes. If we have, 15 or 20 episodes this season, but we only have 8 episodes this season, Ken, and all of them have been sort of half an hour episodes. So I kind of feel like another half an hour shorter episode that kind of felt like another side quest wasn't necessarily the progression I wanted in a show that only has 8 episodes a season.
Yes, that's a great point to start because there's this kind of thing going around. It's either a very serious debate or a silly debate. It's just this concept of, hey, is The Mandalorian a samurai show, a Western show? And I keep joking, hey, it's a Star Wars show. But Deborah Chow brought in some John Wick influences, some kind of, action movie influences. That's Star Wars. You pulling in stuff. But I think more than ever, I'm starting to see this show as a video game. And that's not a bad thing.
It's
Law
not.
and Order is sweeping the nation. Force Unleashed back in the day, that kind of stuff. Knights of the Old Republic. Saying Star Wars is putting on a live-action video game show isn't a bad thing. But the side quest thing is a good way to describe what I felt for this episode, where we're moving along. We know this story's going somewhere. We got our baby Yoda. We got bounty hunters chasing him. It ends. We're going to talk about that cliffhanger, and I'm having fun speculating about that. But I felt this was a almost lather, rinse, repeat kind of beat for beat thing compared to last week.
Sure.
I need to stop. I need to hide the kid. Ships broken, which we've seen before, which is fine. Your ships are going to break down in Star Wars. Find some help. Get involved in the thing. And then we need to move on.
Yes.
Beat, repeat.
Exactly. I feel like this one was a little too similar, not necessarily exact plot points from the last episode, but thematically, it felt like side quest. Someone needs help. I'm going to help them. Then I'm going to go back to my mission. And it's like, we just got that last episode with the village, side quest. They needed help. I helped them. Now I'm going to go back to what I need to do. Yeah. It feels like we're kind of running in circles a little bit. I mean, obviously, I don't know where 6 is headed. And hopefully 6 is going to be steps forward towards the end of the story because we only have 3 episodes left. Yeah. So we kind of need to pick up the pace a little bit when it comes to where the story is headed.
Yeah. You and I talk Game of Thrones a lot. We work on a show together called Casterly Talk, a podcast out there with Lon Harris and Rachel Cushing. So we know from that, reviewing that show, looking at it, there's some weeks where you're like, I hate the word filler. I don't think that it's filler, but you're like, okay, did it move it as much? And then when the whole season's laid down, you look back and go, okay, here's what it did. So obviously, I think we're still going to get that. I think at the end of the show, you look back at season 5 or episode 5 and go, here's what it brought for the story overall.
Sure. Here's my problem.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a filler episode.
Yeah.
I personally, again, I come from anime. I love anime, and anime is known for filler episodes. Filler episodes give you a different aspect of the character that we're following, and it's great. However, anime has 22 episodes a season.
Yeah.
This only has 8, and the fact that we get almost 2 filler-ish episodes, I guess if I had to name one, this is the one filler episode.
Yeah.
I don't feel like this show that has half-an-hour timelines, that has 8 episodes a season, should get a filler episode. And this was kind of a filler episode, and it's something that we didn't really need.
So what you just said about the definition of what you feel filler episode in is very interesting to me, because again, the reason I say don't use it is I don't want it to sound super dismissive to this episode or just any show. Rebels was an example. We would say that a lot. It kind of seemed like a filler. Then something would factor back into that. There's also in animated shows, there's budgetary reasons to go smaller to save for things later on.
From anime,
and that might be in this too. How many times again in Game of Thrones where, we didn't do that. Well, we saved our money for this. So the reality of it is I get it, but what you just said is very interesting to me. Filler episode actually usually means let's focus on the character and learn something about it. So let's focus on that. What did we learn from The Mandalorian, if anything at all, in this episode? What did you feel was revealed about the character?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest moment we got was speaking to a Tusken Raider.
Oh, yeah.
That was huge, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that he was communicating with an actual Tusken Raider, I was like, oh, damn.
Yeah.
Like, he has a connection somehow to Tatooine. Like this, oh, by the way, can we just briefly say that as soon as I saw the brown planet from afar, I was like, oh no, Tatooine. Like I literally screamed out Tatooine multiple times.
I did too. I was doing the midnight watch with Grace, and I said, oh, Tatooine. So, okay, let's dive in here. This is you and I. If you've listened to Ace and I talk Star Wars or Game of Thrones, we go with our hearts and we kind of flow around. We don't like going scene by scene. There was a lot of fan service. Fan service is that buzzword that either it means the world to you or it means it's kind of bad to you.
I was sipping up that
you were bone broth,
like Baby Yoda and bone broth.
I was too, and there was a chance it could have gone overboard. But the return to Mos Eisley and Filoni, this is something I did enjoy that Filoni and company did, which is the exact shots. Passing by where Obi-Wan and Luke stood, the same looking into Mos Eisley. McClunky. I was okay with that in the sense of like it's warm. It's Star Wars.
Yeah,
it's fun.
It was great. I mean, him walking through that area of Tatooine.
Yeah,
I literally kept saying, "Oh my God, we're in Tatooine! Oh my God, we're in Tatooine!" Like I literally said it out loud. And then we walk into the cantina, and the first thing I said out loud was, "Oh my God, it's dead!" So, what happened?
excellent. And you got like an EV-99 kind of droid there. What I think we all wanted to know. I was one of the ones that, like, as he's walking in with almost the same exact shot, I'm like, are we going to see Wu Hare? Is Wu Hare still here, or did he retire? Is there is he like Coach from the first few seasons of Cheers and there's a new bartender? Do we have like a sitcom inside here? We got a droid replacing him, which is, if you know now the new canon story of Wu Hare and his problem with droids because of the Separatists, that's sad. But that's the thing you notice. And to me, there was an interesting comment on the streets of Mos Eisley. It's sparse. The business, the underworld business, it isn't as the New Republic.
I mean, the droid said that they're barely there, or they're not there at all. The guild is.
The huts, we got to assume out of control. If you've read the Aftermath stuff with Cobb Vanth and the Red Raiders and the Malakili, all that stuff, like, it's changed, and I really liked that. And that's where I thought there was moments of strength in this episode of giving me not just the attaching to lore, which is a buzzword that I'm not always excited about, but the picture of the galaxy 5 years after the fall, seeing it in Mos Eisley was interesting.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, obviously the fact that, like I said, from afar when I saw the planet, I was like, that's Tatooine. And then obviously we got confirmation with Mos Eisley reaching in the broadcast when he was tapping into the Mandalorian ship, Razor Crest. And then finally, can I just give again, I'm the Phantom Menace guy, I'm the prequel guy, but as soon as the pit droids pop out, I was like, pit droids, that's my boys. I love pit droids. I love the idea of making callbacks, not just to the Tatooine of the original trilogy, but the Tatooine we get to know in the prequels, which is obviously the Phantom Menace. I loved it. I love the sand dunes. I love seeing the Tusken Raiders, and the fact that he could communicate with them was interesting to me. The fact that he knew who Fennec Shand was. When he said he was an assassin, and she even worked for the Hutts, I think he mentioned.
Yeah, she did a lot there. Yeah, and Fennec Shand's a great addition to this show, I thought. But did you get the sense? And you mentioned the Tusken Raiders. So here's maybe one of the things we learned about Mandalorian here. Now at this point, I'm just going to a place I don't normally go, where I'm just like, let's speculate. So crazy. I got a sense from Amy Sedaris plays the dock manager. I do forget her name. And Amy Sedaris
Peli Motto.
Peli Motto. Great. Thank you. And I do like Amy Sedaris. Love Stranger with Candy. Exit 57. A lot of the things. BoJack Horseman. Of course, she's the voice on now. She was playing the character. I actually like the look. She looked like she was out of the holiday special. Which makes sense with some of the stuff we're talking about. And the performance was, I don't know if it was, a lot of the acting choices in this episode didn't match up to me. They were all seemed to be in somewhat different episodes, which is fine. But that aside, the reality stuff aside, her character, did you get a sense that she, number one, there's a couple lines I've seen online where people are like, did she know him or not? And has he been here before? And then the Tusken Raiders, he's a man about the galaxy, but he's familiar with them. And we've obviously seen off-world Jawas, Tusken Raiders, I don't know, but they're associated with Tatooine.
Yes.
Like how long is he? How many days and weeks and months has he spent on Tatooine?
That's
in his
the
past?
thing. That's what made it so much fun, because it felt like there was enough hints to let you know, like, wait a minute. Yeah. This guy knows Tatooine. And he knows about Tatooine.
And she does what a lot of the characters have done, and it's become almost an inside joke here on the show now of just like, you don't see Mandalorians a lot. So I got the sense that maybe she didn't know him, but there were some lines of, I've heard that before, which might just be other people lying to her about paying her. But that aside, Tusken Raiders, and then what we saw at the end, which we'll talk about, I'm like, how connected is he to Tatooine?
I think there is a connection there for sure. And I think part of that has to do with the Hutts, obviously, because they have their hands in everything, underworld related, and this is a very much underworld type show. I think that's a huge part of it. And then obviously the Tusken Raider scene is just, I thought it was great.
Yeah, what I liked about it is it's this reframing of the Tusken Raiders. The comment of, well, they kind of think this is their land and we're trespassing on it, number one. But I think some of the best Tusken Raider stuff in Star Wars is the Phantom Menace novel, where the scene that didn't make it into the movie, obviously, where Anakin saves an injured Tusken Raider. And that's one of the first times that you see them a little more as well-rounded. I won't say civilized, because they have a rough existence, but not just these monsters in the dunes. And I thought this built on that very well.
Sure.
And Mando's respect for them actually played very well for me.
Yes. I just think it's funny how Anakin saved an injured Tusken Raider and then slaughtered hundreds of them.
That was part of what I think was what the story was trying to set up, but going back to the Phantom Menace
I feel like at this point, every single Tusken Raider is like, have you heard of Anakin Skywalker? Because we're looking for him. From a certain point of view series of stories, there is that mention of, we don't go over there because some monster killed an entire tribe. There's like an entire
it's known. Yeah,
it's almost like a mythical story they tell each other, right?
Yeah, some crazy guy with a laser sword came and cut us all down. But to that point, I really liked it. It was just this. The scene itself looked like a lobby at a Long Beach Comic-Con Expo, but I wanted a little more sand on those Tusken Raiders.
Sure.
But
yes, it did feel very much like there's a green screen behind it.
That aside,
in the studio.
I really liked that moment. I really thought this is this is why I like revisiting familiar areas in Star Wars.
Sure.
Now the Tusken Raiders have a code, some ethics. They're not going to cut you down if you're bartering and communicate. It was interesting little note.
Yeah, can I briefly jump?
You could do what you want to do, Ace, because you're part of this show.
So the mission itself was an interesting one. Obviously, I kind of want to jump to Fennec Shand. The idea of going up against a sniper is something that I've always found super fun in different types of anime and fiction that I watch or read. Right. And I love that scene. However, can I be the first one that the entire episode, I was literally screaming out, where the hell was his pulse rifle?
Yeah. I think you left it on the
literally
ship.
The one thing that has your slight advantage when you're going up against a sniper.
Yeah.
And you have kind of a sniper rifle yourself.
Yeah.
You didn't bring your sniper rifle when you're fighting a sniper that you know is a sniper?
Here's my thing about The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
I think he makes some mistakes. He has, I think by now he should learn to not leave Baby Yoda alone.
Yeah, that scene where Motto was like, you can't just leave your baby on a ship. And I was like, she's kind of right.
She's
You
kinda
can't
right.
just leave your baby on a
And
ship.
at this point, you got to realize if you're tucking him into sleep, there's Baby Yoda. If
Yeah.
you're tucking him into sleep, he might get up.
Yeah.
He's done this a lot now.
Yeah, I mean, he's got powers too. So if you
got
put
powers.
a door there, he might move the door.
So he leaves him there. I mean, he does, hey, watch over him a couple times.
Yeah.
He did that last week too, but it hasn't worked out for him. But yeah, I did leave the pulse rifle. I guess it just needed to be charged. It's like a MacBook. You got to plug it in.
Yeah. Again, going up against the sharpshooter, I was like, you might need that if you're going to fight against
a little bit because he knew it.
Sharpshooter. Yeah, he knew who Fennec Shen was.
Let's talk about Toro.
Yeah.
Toro, what's his full name?
Toro Calican.
Toro Calican. Jake Cannavale. Is it Cannavale or Cannavale? Ask Bobby Cannavale. Comes from a family of acting. He's in the Star Wars universe. Good for him. A little rough at times for me, but that's neither here nor there. Let's talk about the character.
Sure.
Very clear use of tropes, which is what the show's been doing since the beginning, which is okay. Did you like him even sitting in Han Solo's seat?
Yeah, just because I like that reference that we got for the McClunky, obviously the McClunky reference that we got from that scene. It's a classic, iconic scene that everyone wants to
want to see McClunky.
Everyone wants a McClunky. But I kind of find it interesting, the idea of the aftermath of not having an empire there, where people like Toro think that their way to make it in the world is to join the guild, because it seems like everyone's in the guild, Ken.
Yeah.
Watching this show, I was like, how many guild members are there? My God, this is like the biggest corporation ever, because they're employing
with respect to
the entire
Felicia
universe.
Day's old show online, The Guild. This is very it should
the Bounty
be called
Hunter
The Guild. Yeah.
It feels like everyone is joining the guild, and he's like, man, I just want to get in the guild, man.
Yeah.
Like, this is my ticket in.
Yeah.
It's like everyone wants to join the guild, but the idea of him hiring the Mandalorian to get into the guild by getting a high target like a Fennec Shan was an interesting side quest for sure. And it made it feel like here's this young guy who wants to sort of throw away his life by becoming a bounty hunter, if you want to consider it that, like a dangerous occupation, because there's not really careers out there or jobs out there.
Yeah, that's part. I mean, that's part of maybe what the struggle with New Republic. You need some work, and he seemed to have what I liked about him being in literally like Han Solo's pose and literally in the chair is just an easy way to identify. He's kind of not the Han Solo in A New Hope wasn't fronting or pretending to be something. Han struggles with who he believes he is inside his entire life, but it reminded me of young Han Solo, and this character comes in of just like, tough. I got to be tough, right? Yeah, I'm tough. Hey, can you help me? And I was there for that, and it appeals to Mando's orphan foundling kind of thing. I still wonder why, and I still wonder how much Mando really was there to help him, and how much was I need to get money. Yeah. Was that just simply his motivation, or because it seemed like he kind of wanted to know part of Fennec Shand, but then money.
Yes. I think it was a purely money survival instinct. I have to get my ship going so I can get out of this planet.
Right.
This kid is offering me some cash. I might as well take the job.
Yeah.
I can take down Fennec Shand, so let's go for it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Yeah. So there's a lot of things. Along the way. The speeder bikes, again, we got some shout outs to Rebels, even to what Shadows of the Empire, right?
The Carillion, when he said it's not Carillion.
Yeah, this was really heavy on it there, which is okay. I like the little play of them kind of trying to go in front of each other there. Oh, there's also a moment here, I put in my notes, here's what I'm referring to here, when Amy Sedaris' character talks about, you have a lot to learn about raising a young one. And Mando shuts up in that moment. And I like that in a way, he's kind of like, yeah, I am a father to this thing right now. And him accepting that role. Because last week he was ready to ditch him.
Yeah.
And in a good way. And like he felt it was right to leave him here, and in a lot of ways it could have been. But did you enjoy the
totally.
Mando as pseudo father?
I just like the idea that everyone who sees the Mandalorian with Baby Yoda is immediately like, "Oh, your son," and blah blah blah, or "Oh, you got to take care of your son, man." Like Jesus, like you got to be a better dad. Like everyone keeps referring to him as if like this is his
kid.
son,
Which
like his kid.
Goes back to the discussion we had on Jedi Council yesterday of you saying Julia Jones might just want to smash Yoda.
I was gonna say
that's your new hashtag. Andres
who knows
Cabrera,
what's under the Mandalorian helmet?
where she's just got to assume that's your kid. So how do the years fit under the helmet
how'd
there?
you get so tall?
So, anyways, sorry, that was backtracking a little bit.
But it is that idea of him like reluctantly accepting that. Wait a minute, I kind of am his father.
Yeah.
You know, like at first he feels like I'm his protector, I'm his guardian, but now it's like, oh crap, I'm kind of like his adopted dad.
It's not just because you and I always talk Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
We literally recorded an episode before we came over here. It reminds me slightly of when the Hound is walking around with Arya Stark and suddenly at one point realizes I'm protecting her as much as I am trying to sell her for gold. Where his affinity for her at some point, his respect for her grows, and at some point, reluctantly, and I think he finally admits it to Brienne of Tarth, like, I'm out here protecting her. What are you doing? And I think this is the episode where I felt, even though he's leaving the kid behind, leaving the asset behind a little too much for my taste, that was the moment where he shuts up.
Yeah.
Because, you're right. I am the father. I got to do more. It's not just a prey anymore. It's not just an asset, at least not to him. They're out and about. They're going to take on Fennec Shand. Dewback, Dead Hunter. I was pleasantly surprised by the sniper shot coming boom across, knocking him out. And that whole sequence with the flares and everything actually did really work for me.
Oh, I thought the best part of the episode for me.
Yeah.
I mean, it just cinematically, it was really cool to see how the flares lit up, how it looked over the sand dunes and them flying over the speeder bikes.
Through her scope.
Her helmet was really cool. Her look amazing. Just even the quick little martial arts scene that she got to do, because Ming-Na Wen is an amazing fighter, an amazing actress, to be honest. If you go watch, again, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is an incredible show.
You're an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I'm an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
from the old
stan for life. Great show. Go watch that show. And Ming-Na Wen is one of the best parts of that show. She got to show off a little bit of her martial arts background.
Yeah.
And her skills, which was another great part, because I immediately was like, oh, that kid's going to get toasted.
Yeah.
Toro is going to get snapped in half. And he kind of was.
He kind of was. Yeah.
So it's one of those things where it's like, it's a sniper rifle, shooter, but she can still kick your butt. Hand-to-hand combat, even though she's not that tall.
She's an intriguing character. We are gonna dive into her in a bit here, but that whole sequence, I didn't like a lot of the directorial choices, maybe in the one-on-ones and some of the quieter moments, but that whole sequence played out really well. Both of Filoni's episodes do have that. Hey, he knows what he's doing with the Clone Wars and some Rebel stuff, and I mean all the Rebels, but he is more hands-on, I think, directing with the Clone Wars. This sequence really worked for me, where the show is constrained by its budget, and I know there's some thoughts that it's a big budget. It is, but I don't think Favreau got all the money he wanted, and that opening sequence is kind of fun. I wouldn't call it cinematic quality, the dogfight in space, but it worked for me. This sequence was highlighting what you have. A lot of shows, Battlestar Galactica, all the seasons, but particularly season 1 and 2, and particularly season 1 of Battlestar Galactica, they didn't have the budget. So they had to make this into a hangar. And they had to make do and highlight. And I thought that sequence, we know they're not on location. We know don't have this film budget. Excuse me, I'm choking on my lunch here. And we're live. But they highlighted what they had, which is what I think you should do. And it's a great set. The flares, it was visually stunning. Her skills on display, but so is Mandalorians, and you learn about everyone in a fight, and I thought that was a good moment.
Absolutely, yeah.
What else from there? Well, let's go into Fennec Shand.
Yeah, let's do it.
Some facts, actually. She reveals the planet from the first couple episodes. Navarro, I believe it was.
Yeah.
I didn't completely fact check that.
No, it was Navarro. I wrote it down.
Navarro, it was. Okay. Sounded like it.
Yeah.
So that's I love that information, because again, the show styles and episodes 4 and 5, chapters 4 and 5, has changed a little bit, where we're getting a little more scenes without the Mando involved. But I love that the information isn't really learned by us until Mando hears it or learns it himself. And so it's kind of like, I like going back, going, all right, what is this new planet here?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's named after a Latino guy, Navarro. It's a Latin last name.
So
Toro is a Latin last name. Guillermo el Toro. He's going to come out here.
Young bull going down, running down that hill. There's this, so she's captured, and it worked for me because the Mando takes control of the situation there. But there's this little moment here where Mando says, she's no good to us dead. Obviously, we got the connection, the at least homage to Boba Fett. But now let's really put our tinfoil hats on, Andres. Do you think that was something we should be reading into more, especially with the end of this episode?
Yes. Let's jump to it, man. Who is the boots at the end of the episode that walks up to finish Shan? I kept rewinding it and trying to think. It doesn't make sense to me if that's Moff Gideon. And if they're hiding him somehow, why would they hide a character that we've seen in the trailer?
Right.
You know, why would we need to do that? And then I immediately went towards bounty hunters. And then obviously the sound of like almost Spurs type sound as he was walking.
A lot of people connect with Boba Fett.
Yes. Can I tell you where my mind went?
I want you
and I'm going off on a super side quest mission.
We will follow you.
Training different villagers.
Yeah.
I kept thinking about, we have this culture of bounty hunters. We keep running into them literally every episode. The Bounty Hunter Guild is employing lots of people. And I kept thinking about who are the most iconic bounty hunters. Aurra Singh, Bosk. But then obviously we get to Boba Fett, where everyone is kind of headed. Boba Fett's probably the most iconic bounty hunter. However, who is the best bounty hunter ever? And that's Cad Bane. Cad Bane is the best bounty hunter, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I don't think we ever got a confirmation of what happened to Cad.
So there is the scene where he and Boba Fett get into the shootout. They showed that at Celebration, a couple years ago.
But is that canon? Is that official?
Like, I don't know.
Is that something we're going to get? Can that somehow... Is that still going to happen? Is my thing. Because obviously I know about that, and I've seen the animation. But is Cad... Is that official thing?
Is he on the table? We can look it up here. We are live. So do you want it to be Cad Bane?
I want it to be Cad Bane. I know we get that confirmation that Boba Fett killed Cad Bane and Boba Fett survived the shot because of the Mandalorian helmet. Trust me, I know all about this. However, I just don't know if that's still the same direction they're headed. I don't know if that's official canon. So I don't know if Cad can officially come up.
Going on the tab, the Wikipedia canon tab, and again, Wikipedia is not officially Lucasfilm. We know that, but he is listed as alive.
Okay. So it kind of gives
you hope.
Gives me hope that maybe my weird train of thought of like this cowboy gunslinger isn't the Mandalorian. It's actually someone like a Cad Bane, or maybe a Boba Fett. Maybe it is Boba Fett.
You're tying the title to this. Well, the title...
Maybe the gunslinger is who's at the end of the episode. Yeah.
The title Gunslinger, all the titles have some multiple meanings. In this one... To me, it's not just straight the gunslinger's not the Mandalorian. Yeah. It could be Fennec Shand. It could also be Toro, because the young gunslinger, this is, the man who shot Liberty Valance, man. He wants to make a name for himself, right? I can see that, but at the end, if it is just this reference to the gunslinger, and I would call Cad Bane more the gunslinger. It's just, here's why, and
you're fighting me, Cad. I'm not. You're like, it's not Cad. Trust me, dude.
It's not Cad. I don't think it's Cad.
Damn it. I want it to be Cad so bad because I'm like, who better to be the big bad of this entire season than the best bounty hunter who ever lived, Cad Bane?
I always leave a 2% margin for it could be.
Okay. This is directed by Filoni. It's the one thing Filoni could give us.
It's either Ahsoka, Cad Bane.
Yep. Or Sabine Wren.
I think Bo-Katan's realistic.
Okay.
I think Boba Fett is realistic.
I agree with that one.
As well, because of, again, she's no good to us dead.
Yeah.
A callback to he's no good to us dead. in an episode full of fan service, which this was.
Yes. And on Tatooine.
On Tatooine.
Yes. A hot connection.
It could be. And my brain mostly goes to, well, that was fun. My heart's going, did he hang around Boba Fett?
Yeah.
Was he part of his troop at any point?
Sure.
You know,
even if we break it down on a simple, like, Mandalorian armor, bounty hunter connection.
Yeah.
The only other Mandalorian armor bounty hunter we know of is Boba, obviously Jango before that, but that's kind of it.
Yeah.
And now we have another person who's Mandalorian or wearing Mandalorian armor, who is now this character we're following. That's literally a one-on-one connection there. They must have either been mistaken for each other or come across each other or something.
Yes. Thank you. If you're roaming around this galaxy dressed like that,
and you're in the bounty hunter guild,
and IG-11 is angry at being confused as IG-88. At some point, someone might have been, "Hey, Boba." No, I'm Pete Mando. Oh, sorry, man. Sorry. Have you ever met Boba Fett? I've heard of him.
It's like I hanged out with him. He's a good dude, man.
Me, him, and Dengar, we closed down this bar like 5 years ago. But that's why Amy Sedaris' character, I don't necessarily think does know him.
Sure.
Some of her lines are just probably general references to the people who've come through her hangar before. Put that aside. But him knowing, he's definitely been to Mos Eisley before, which is not a far stretch of anyone's Star Wars imagination. But the familiarity with the Tusken Raiders, it's enough to where you communicate, and they, in a weird way, I don't necessarily think they respected him. I keep saying Pete Mando as a joke, but just that they were like, that guy. But just all right, we didn't immediately knock him in the head like we did Luke and all this stuff. We trust him enough. He's communicating.
Yeah.
So he's been around. He knows the way around. Mos Eisley, we obviously know. Tatooine itself, the connections, the huts, everything we could list down, all building to this moment of Boba Fett getting word of this. Boba Fett familiar with. I absolutely believe he'd be familiar with Fennec Shand. Aftermath being very, very much canon, and that setting off the idea of, and I don't think it's the character of Cobb Vanth, but Cobb Vanth run around in Boba Fett's old armor. Does Boba Fett have new armor? And now he's part of this story, and the story just got a little bit more bigger.
Yeah.
That would be a big victory for this episode.
Yes.
Or the way the show, and sometimes life does work, is it's a character named Laser Bill McBurwalker, and it's just going to be someone from next week's episode.
Yeah, or it could be Moff Gideon. As much as we keep saying it's not Moff Gideon, I still feel like it's kind of weird if it's Moff Gideon and they hide him at the end.
Because it's not a huge
It's not. We've seen him in the trailer so many times. He was, promoting it for crying out loud. So it feels like it's a little bit of a stretch to say that's Moff. But
totally agree with that.
It could just be Moff Gideon and his black cape and his.
And if word is spread about the Navarro stuff, clearly people are after Fennec Shand because we see a dead bounty hunter. Toro's got the chip, so someone's after her. It's a guild job, by the way. Whoever's there, I think might. It gives me a hope that Fennec Shand is still alive.
Yeah,
because I really like.
Really, you think so?
I really like the potential of the character. Now the show has already been a weekly Love Boat guest star type of thing.
What do you think about that, Ken? What do you think that every character we've gotten that seemed to have been a part
of the promotion of the show?
Correct. It felt like the way they were promoting the show with these new actors and characters coming in, it felt like they were setting them up to be a part of this team or squad or recurring characters that we're going to see episode by episode.
When you sign into Disney Plus, you got Mando, Cara Dune, and IG-11 and a walking together like a shootout. Yeah. By the way, maybe that still happens.
Maybe. Yeah, you never know.
Let's wait to the end of the show.
But so far,
but they marketed this as Boba Fett, his friends, Moff Gideon. There's something with Werner Herzog.
Yeah.
We didn't know Baby Yoda
it's
at the
time. Bounty Hunters versus the Empire.
Something's going on. And we haven't necessarily got that show, which I've enjoyed. The first 3 episodes are my favorite.
Me too.
Because these emotional Western samurai tone poems of a one man and his identity was really working for me. So I like the choice. I'll say this.
I do too.
When IG-11 gets his head blasted from the Mandalorian's blaster, I was like, okay, that's what the story needed.
100%.
So
agree.
Is Fennec Shand dead?
I think she is because she
think
took
she
a
is?
blaster rifle to the stomach.
I'm saying she's feeling
Straight
great.
on?
Not feeling great, but I just whoever this is or her showing up. We just see boots and hear some spurs, some space spurs. I think they're aware of who Fennec Shand is, and I think they're definitely aware of who Mandalorian is. So if she can provide more information and be part of the pursuit.
Yeah. Can I say it's one of those things that the biggest part of this episode that we're talking about happens to be the last 5 seconds of the episode.
Yeah.
It goes to show how this might not have worked as a whole for a 32-minute episode. In my opinion, I don't think I think it's too much of a side mission to progress the story forward in such a short amount of time. Yep. Again, if this was a small piece of a longer episode, or if there was 5 more episodes to go, I would feel a different type of way. But I still feel like, my God, there's only 3 episodes left, and we got another side mission with some random kid named Toro.
I'm gonna double back a little bit on the conversation up top about the filler. What do we learn about the Mando going forward? And we learned a lot in episode 4. I thought we learned a lot about his state of mind. This one, I think there's stuff to learn from him there, but I don't know. I'm struggling at this point. Haven't only seen it twice of really finding what he learned. What did I learn about the Mando on his journey in this? I learned that he maybe might help people. I've already learned that. I learned that he's good in a fight and ingenious in the ways he battles people. I think I already learned that. His ship's a little junky at times. We definitely already learned that. So
he likes one-liners.
He likes one-liners. Did you like the I can bring you in warm or bring you in cold?
I did. I did. I liked it.
I'm okay with it.
I'm a fan of over the topness. I think it's fun. I thought it was fun. He's like, you took my line, and he just blasted him away.
Over the topness definitely has a place in Star Wars. You and I, off air, were celebrating Carl Weathers and his.
Oh, love it.
Everybody in here hates you, Mando.
Mando, you're a legend, Mando.
I'm on board for that.
I love it.
All the way.
Love it.
Yeah, and that's so that's the big question I have, and I may find out more when I put this down on the timeline of the show.
Sure.
Where I look back and go, what did this episode enlighten me on about the Mando?
Can I just say, I for one enjoyed the episode for what it gave me Tatooine-wise. Pure Easter egg, pure fan service. Again, like I said before, I am Baby Yoda, bone broth. I love fan service. Give me that. I'm gobbling that up.
Yeah, I have no problem.
So for me, all the Tatooine stuff, which again, I think I said it on Jedi Council, happens to be one of my favorite planets, if not my favorite.
Oh, yeah.
On at least in the original trilogy. Give me Tatooine, give me references, give me Mos Eisley, give me references to the Hutts. Like, this is me, the pit droids. I was just like in heaven enjoying all the stuff.
Yeah.
As far as progression of a story, I was like, all right, didn't really hit me there.
Yeah.
But man, I got some good fan service. I got some Tatooine stuff.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it for what it was.
Yeah.
I just was like, at least bring your pulse rifle with you, man. That's all I wanted. And then I would have been a little happier. But I think I'm a little more positive than some other people might be. But as a whole, it is a side quest. It is a side mission.
Yeah. I'm going to always choose to focus on the things I love about every piece of Star Wars media. And
I mean, he took a sniper.
He did.
Blaster
Beskar's
on the
pretty
Beskar.
good.
That was cool, man.
Yeah, Beskar's great. The speeder bikes, the sounds.
Yeah.
As far as this, I mean, the fan service, the connections, the references in this one were as sweet as that Suka egg for the Jaw was. It was all over the place. But I don't have a problem with that. I'm one who, when Ponda Baba and Dr. Everson show up in Rogue One, I'm like, yeah, hey, that's the guy. That's the guys. I don't get sidetracked by it because
me neither.
It's Star Wars.
I think it's fun. I mean, when they say General Syndulla, I was like, hell yeah, General Syndulla.
It's not the focus, and it wasn't the focus of this episode. It's just the same shot, literally with the same moons of the opening of A New Hope. I'm like, that's great. That's actually kind of sweet and beautiful.
I think this episode live or dies through the reflection we get of a character like Toro, in my opinion.
Okay.
Where if we got this like fun, plucky kid that immediately everyone, or at least I was like, oh, I don't like this kid.
I think a lot of people didn't.
Yeah, it was like, this kid's a little much.
His best moment for me, and my girlfriend Grace had we had the same reaction, is when he shoots her, when he shoots Fennec Shand.
Yeah.
We're like, okay, I like that meat. I like that meat on that story right there. You made that choice. You were committing to this life that you think you want. I didn't want a sob story. I didn't want him to be like, I just lost my job and this is all like.
yeah.
I'm glad they didn't go that direction. And I thought Jake Cannavale played that moment really good.
Can I say too? I like that he killed him. I mean, full disclosure.
Oh, yeah.
I like that he wasn't like, well, you're a kid, so I'm gonna let you go. He was like, nah, kid, I'm gonna shoot you in the face.
Yeah.
You just threatened Baby Yoda, you gonna die. Straight up, you gonna die.
No one threatens Baby Yoda. All right. In our house, we support Baby Yoda, and that was some.
But I like that he shot him dead, like cold, like literally. I was like, oh, he killed him.
Oh,
That's I mean, I don't know how old he was, but I'm assuming he's a youngin.
Yeah,
he's a younger dude,
Not gonna-
but he's still like, hey man, you can't mess around with my boy.
Not going to work here anymore.
Nah, you gonna die.
Good night. Let's look ahead as we start to wrap up here. Let's
do it.
Double checking my notes. Is anything I'm leaving off? And I'm sure there's some things that. Let us know out there. We're broadcasting live. If you want to tweet in something that we may have forgotten, but in the final moments here, Andres, looking ahead to next week. We do know that next week we got Natalie Tena coming in as a Twi'lek. We got Bill Burr showing up. We got might be some rivals, which again is why this character at the end could be very much just tied to that, and all of our fun speculation goes out the window. But what are you thinking about next week?
The biggest takeaway for me next episode is Rick Famuyiwa. Famuyiwa.
Yeah.
That's my biggest takeaway. A lot of people told me that episode 2 has been their favorite, even though it's probably the least amount of dialogue probably.
Oh yeah,
out of
it's
any
still
of
my
them.
favorite too. Yeah.
People loved episode 2. It's interesting because he's coming back now. What he's going to do now with a little bit more characters? Not really Jawas, but other characters like Bill Burr, like the Twi'lek that we're going to get, which again happens to be one of my favorite types of characters that we get in Star Wars.
Twi'leks?
I'm the biggest Hera fan there is.
You want to go to the Twi'lek healing baths?
Oh,
No?
yes, please sign me up. I want to go to the Hunt dance party.
Yes.
Bring me all those.
Okay.
I'm Salacious Crumb, man.
Here you go.
But for me, that's my biggest takeaway. Also, you know what I'm questioning quite a bit? Bill Burr. How is he gonna fit in the Star Wars universe? I know a lot of people are like, Bill Burr, and I'm just like, Bill Burr in Star Wars? I mean, well, maybe.
It is sure. It is that struggle sometimes. Amy Sedaris is a great example. I think she was really good in this episode. I loved the look. I really did love the look. It fit. It was like 1977 New Hope all the way. Like I can imagine she probably was working Docking Bay 93 in the events of that movie. But you're looking at her going, oh, okay, that's Amy Sedaris. You're looking at Horatio Sands and going through the makeup. Oh, that's Horatio Sands.
Who was the first guy in the episode 1?
Horatio Sands.
There we go.
SNL.
That's the one.
Brian Posehn. If you know these people, if you don't know these people, you're like, you take it as what it is.
Sure.
Bill Burr's pretty well known. Love him or hate him, he's well known. Whereas like Natalie Tena's coming in to play the Twi'lek, and you either know her from Harry Potter, Game of Thrones, or About a Boy, actually, back in the day. I think she's not. I don't worry about her standing out.
No.
Bill Burr is Bill Burr.
That's the thing, because like you said, I feel like with her, she's able to disappear a little bit more into the characters. She's an actor. She's not really a stand-up comedian or an improv comedian. No offense to those guys. Those guys are amazing.
I am both.
I was going to say,
when
it's
people,
one of those things
when people try to cast me in things, I'm like, me?
Yeah.
So it's going to be fun.
Absolutely.
Get in
his
your
little Predator missile side elbow launcher,
cameos,
whatever that thing is.
It's a meta thing. It's like when Favreau's speaking up his Paz Vizsla. You're like, oh wait, that's Favreau. It's not just I'm not recognizing it as pre-Vizsla. I'm recognizing it as Jon Favreau. I'm wondering how Bill Burr's going to work in
I'm just
Star
curious.
Wars.
I'm curious if he's going to play the like, hey, I'm a funny guy, or is he going to play like the I'm going against the grain, I'm going against my type. It is kind of character where he's gritty and he's dark or something.
It is very important for directors, but even on TV, and we were talking about it with Thad of Collider's TV Talk off air, it's very important on television for the showrunners to be there, to be present, and make sure all the actors are working towards the same feel and the same style. And sometimes so far on the show, I feel there's been some decisions made that they're not bad decisions, but the actors are in different feeling shows.
Yeah.
And so
sure.
Can Famuyiwa bring Bill Burr into the same episode? That's
absolutely. Who's your favorite side character so far? That isn't Baby Yoda.
Quill.
Okay.
Oh, by far, Quill.
Quill.
Quill is magical. Like every line worked. Every line worked as an old Western mentor character. Nick Nolte did it. And then I forget the female performer that was actually Quill. I think Mary's her first name. Apologize for not knowing that. Quill really worked for me. Okay. I want more Quill. I don't think I'll get more Quill, but
sure.
It worked for me.
Great.
You?
I'm gonna say it, Ken. I'm gonna say Cara Dune. I thought she was great. I thought she worked. I thought she worked for what the episode was, which was training villagers to fight back. She's she's a soldier. She's part of the army. This is what she does. I thought it worked. I thought it worked for like a good partner for the Mandalorian to have, who isn't babbling or isn't trying to be funny or isn't trying to be goofy. Is just dead serious. This is who I am. I'm a killer.
Yeah.
Or I'm a fighter. I'm gonna teach you how to fight.
I really like the character of Cara Dune. I really, like I said last week, and I've said on Force Center a lot with Joseph Scrimshaw and I breaking it down. Like, I really want Gina Carano to have the chance to grow into this character.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, after this week, I appreciate her performance a lot more.
There you go, man. Cara, do the freaking Carl Weathers handshake and Predator.
Well, we'll see next week. We've got what is next week? The schedule of The Mandalorian has been a fun adventure. What day
really
is
has.
this? So we got one normal week next week, Thursday, that midnight thing where you're doing what device has it? You watch mostly on the Disney.com, right?
It came up on midnight, man.
Yours came up?
This was the first time I went on Disney Plus website on my laptop, and it came right up, and I was like,
maybe they're working on that.
Bro, last time it was like 2-something in the morning, 3-something in the morning. So now it's like, all right.
I didn't get to watch till 12:45 in the morning. But next week, normal. Then the week after, we've got the episode, that'll be episode 7. I think that is Moff Gideon's big debut. That is in December 18th to avoid the Rise of Skywalker. And then the final one is the next Thursday. It's Boxing Day. That anyone over there celebrating Boxing Day is going to get to watch The Mandalorian. So that is going to create a little bit of a problem in our review schedule for the final episode. Bear with us. We might be doing a big kind of finale recap, look back on the show on Jedi Council, or a little separate because, well, Collider will be dark for the holidays. So that's been part of the experience of Mandalorian, is when and where and how you watch it. But this is the first one out of the gate for Disney Plus, and I do think this show is still captivating a lot of people. I've already seen people on Twitter who loved episode 5. Some who were like, nah, 3's my favorite, 2's my favorite. And here's the thing. You don't have to actually rank them. You can enjoy what you love from the show.
And so far, I love the show.
Oh,
the show itself to me is just like, it's a blast.
Every time I finally get it to appear on my TV, whether it's Roku, PlayStation 4, or whatever, and the Lucasfilm logo comes up, I'm like, hey, we got new Star Wars.
Yes.
And as I always say, the new Star Wars brings the potential of your favorite Star Wars moment. And that's exciting for me. So,
there you go.
Andres Cabrera, thanks for coming in today
and
sitting down with us, discussing, breaking down, reviewing Chapter 5, The Gunslinger. You can follow Ace at Squad Leader Ace. Tell them what else you do.
You can find me on YouTube as well, on First Cut, where you can find my podcast, The Meaning Of, where I talk about my favorite movies. We just dropped our top 10 movies of the decade episode, where me and RB3 and my friend Sabrina talk about our 10 best movies of the decade. So make sure you go check that out.
And you can follow me at Cad Napzok, or go to CadNapzok.com for information on a lot of things, including my book, Why We Love Star Wars, now available in German. Also, if you're local to LA or traveling through for the holidays, December 22nd, I'll be part of a live kind of Star Wars celebration kind of show with my friends at Black Series Rebels. Emma Fife might be there, some other people. Names getting lined up. Is going to be here locally at Flappers Comedy Club, December 22nd. So go to their website or watch their show, and I'll update you here as well on Collider for when that is happening. We can all have a holiday Star Wars celebration. Maybe I'll sing the Life Day song. We'll see. So that is it for Ace, for Mando, for Cody in the booth. Thank you, Cody. We'll see you next week here on Collider Jedi Council.